got the nerve to complain on the white man's Instagram. Because what have you ever done? Go make your own platform. Racism isn't the obstacle holding us back anymore.
And 3 people have been shot on the Alcorn State University campus. One of those victims died.
Authorities have charged Tevion Powell, William Bryant, and Morgan Lattimore with capital murder. LaToya Powell is charged with attempted murder.
Learning more about a shooting that killed 2 people at a Heidelberg high school football game Friday.
All right, guys, if you remember a couple weeks ago, I covered the Trey Reed case, the student at Delta State University who was found dead and it was ruled a suicide. And instantly people lost their minds and said that he didn't kill himself. Somebody did this to him. Meanwhile, a few cities away, a white man was literally found hanged too. But somehow that wasn't worth the same outrage. And back then I said it, this was a chance to talk about mental health. But no, people wanted to play the same broken record. White people did it because apparently if there's no white person to blame, we do not care. Now, fast forward to right now, Mississippi has had multiple mass shootings, all committed by Black people from what I've seen. And guess what? Crickets. No protests, no hashtags, no think pieces, just silence. Because to be clear, we only care about Black death when we can blame white people for it. When it's us doing it, it's ignored. That's why I keep saying it. We don't actually care about Black death. If we did, this story would be everywhere. And not only would it be everywhere, people would be outraged. Now, shout out to Smiles and the Twisted MD for even putting me on this because I didn't even hear about the story at first because obviously the media was not covering it. But we're going to talk about it today because someone has to, and I will take all the bullets that come with it. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am Carmen Jaycee. If you're new here, make sure you hit the like or the subscribe button. And if you want to support the channel, hit the super thanks or the buy me a coffee link below. Also, if you guys can go ahead and drop a comment just so we can stay in the algorithm, and I obviously love to hear what you guys have to say. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so where do I start? Obviously, we have a nigga problem in the Black community. Mississippi looked like a war zone this past weekend, and somehow nobody is talking about it. You would think that people were heading to homecoming to have fun, but they walked straight into homicides. 4 separate shootings, same weekend, same state, and not a single national headline. No hashtags, no protests, no say their name campaigns, just silence. Let's start with Leland, Mississippi, the deadliest one. 6 people was killed, over a dozen injured. The FBI even called it one of the most deadliest shootings in America this year, and still silence. 6 lives gone, and you probably didn't even hear about it. Let's go ahead and take a listen to the coverage on that. Take a listen.
Tonight, as 4 people are arrested after a deadly mass shooting in Mississippi. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Greg Hurst.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Skurlock. The FBI announcing those arrests just a short time ago. Authorities have charged Tevion Powell, William Bryant, and Morgan Lattimore with capital murder. LaToya Powell is charged with attempted murder. All the charges stem from Friday night's shooting in Leland, Mississippi, which left 6 people dead and 10 others wounded. The gunfire broke out along Main Street after the Leland High School homecoming game. Tonight, a vigil was held for those victims.
Now, after the fact, it came out that some of the people involved were family related by blood, an aunt, a niece, and a nephew all wrapped in the same chaos. This is a moral collapse. And if you remember, I covered this story a couple weeks ago about Curtis Dixon, the man who was gifted $100,000 by the YouTuber MD Motivator. Even he was betrayed by people who were close to him. He was allegedly kidnapped by his own relatives, forced to withdraw money, tied up, and left in a burning car. So this isn't an isolated incident. It is not just strangers turning on each other anymore. It's family. The moral decay is deep, and it is spreading right through the Black community and, quite frankly, spilling over into other communities. And listen, it wasn't just Leland. Let's talk about Heidelberg, Mississippi. 2 people were killed during another homecoming celebration. Police are saying that they're searching for an 18-year-old suspect, but you wouldn't know if you relied on the mainstream media because it's almost completely ignored outside of local coverage. Let's go ahead and take a listen to the coverage on that. Take a listen.
We are learning more about a shooting that killed 2 people at a Heidelberg high school football game Friday. More arrests have been made. 12 News, Brandon Rains joining us live now from Heidelberg's police department. Brandon, people there in Heidelberg must be pretty shaken up after this.
Yeah, people who live here in Heidelberg tell me that this type of crime just does not happen here in their small town. They're very upset and in disbelief that anything like this would ever happen, but they are glad someone is being held accountable. More arrests have been made in connection to a deadly shooting at Heidelberg High's homecoming game Friday night. 19-year-old Demarion Starks was arrested Monday morning. He is charged with accessory after the fact and tampering with evidence. Jasper County Sheriff Randy Johnson tells us a minor was also arrested Monday for tampering with evidence, and 2 to 3 more arrests are expected. Residents of Heidelberg say the shooting has left them in shock.
Everybody been so spaced off. It's been mighty slow, and it's been quiet. You know, the atmosphere is like really sad around here. So has nobody really been out today, you know, or really talking about it and stuff? Everybody just been down, you know, trying to figure out what happened and why it happened.
18-year-old Tyler Goodlow was arrested Saturday and charged with 2 counts of capital murder for killing 35-year-old Chris Newell and 28-year-old Micaiah McCrae, who is said to have been pregnant. Both were from Laurel.
Now, 2 people died, and the story seems to fade in just 24 hours. Amazing how that works, right? And still, there's more. At Alcorn State University, yes, an HBCU, there was another shooting near the Industrial Technology Building. 3 people were shot. One 29-year-old woman died. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is leading the case, but no arrests have been made yet. Let's go ahead and take a listen to the coverage on that.
We're starting with breaking news tonight at 10. 3 people have been shot on the Alcorn State University campus. One of those victims died. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation said the shooting happened around 6:30 tonight in the area of the Industrial Technology Building. There, investigators say they found those 3 gunshot victims. So far, no one has been arrested. The university posted on social media, students are asked to continue to shelter in place until an all clear is issued. The campus is closed until further notice. Only current students and employees are permitted on campus.
Now, the fact that this happened at a college campus during homecoming weekend, that should be a wake-up call. No space is sacred anymore, not even HBCUs. And quite frankly, Black people are more likely to commit crimes when they're around other Black people. They're more than likely to kill other Black people. But this case, there was 4 different shootings, same weekend, same state, same pattern, all predominantly Black areas. Homecoming season turned into homicide season, and not one national outlet seems to care. Now, to be clear, if these shooters were white or police officers, the media would be foaming at the mouth to cover it. Politicians would be lining up, crying about gun reform, and Ben Crump would be all over it. That's how you know if Ben Crump isn't around, it's not profitable, okay? This makes no money. They only care when it's profitable, when it can make headlines. They can't show Black people killing Black people because they'd have to talk about the real issues within the community. Mississippi is going through a lot right now, but this isn't just Mississippi. Let's go over to South Carolina. All right, so let's move on to South Carolina because apparently chaos decided it needed a change of scenery. On October 12th, after a tailgating event for Battery Creek High School alumni, a mass shooting broke out at Willie's Bar and Grill on St. Helena's Island. 4 people were killed and nearly 20 people were injured. Now, this wasn't just some random bar. This is in the Gullah Geechee community, sacred grounds in Black history. And yet, when tragedy hit right there, the silence is deafening. Let's go ahead and take a listen to the coverage on that. Well, what little coverage there was. Take a listen.
Police are investigating a mass shooting in the southeastern part of South Carolina over the weekend. It happened overnight Sunday at a bar and restaurant in Beaufort County. At least 4 people were killed and at least 20 others were hurt. Investigators say a high school reunion was taking place at the bar, and the owner described the moment gunfire rung out.
It was scary from the inside, you know what I mean? Like, you could just tell the rapid succession of shots. Like, it wasn't a standard weapon like it. You saw people giving CPR, you saw people picking people up, you saw people crying. People care. Like, this community didn't do this, a person did this.
So terrifying there. Authorities say they have identified persons of interest in the attack, but it's unclear if anyone is in custody.
Now think about that. A social event meant to celebrate connections turned into a crime scene, and by the next morning, the media didn't care. And like I said, if this had been a white shooter, every outlet in America would be covering it. But because this is Black on Black violence, it doesn't fit the script. So they will skip it because they don't care about Black lives. And this is what I need Black people to start paying attention to. The patterns. Why isn't this everywhere? If this was a white person who had done a mass shooting to other white people, this would be a national story, wall to wall. But because it's Black on Black crime, nobody cares. I need you guys to really think about that. Like, where is Ben Crump? Where is BLM? Why are they never on the scene when it's us killing us? Why aren't they here to fix the issues in our community instead of the ones that they can profit off of? Ben Crump had no problem picking up multiple cases these past few weekends, the ones involving police, of course, because police-involved shootings make money. They don't care about peace. They don't care about order. They care about profit and attention. And we need to start paying attention to that because we're the ones who's suffering. Every one of these victims was Black. These weren't outsiders. These aren't white people. These are our own people that is doing this. And that's exactly why the Black community should care. We should be fed up with this. Other communities don't even have to deal with this kind of chaos, and yet somehow we normalized it. We excuse it. We stay silent. And honestly, this is why mental health in the Black community is in a steep decline, because being around this kind of environment your whole life is not normal. Being raised behind bulletproof glass is not normal. Walking through metal detectors to go to school is not normal. And that was long before school shootings were even a national concern. They had metal detectors in Black schools for as long as I could remember. I used to have to walk through metal detectors to go to school. So that is not normal, okay? You should not be okay with these conditions. And the fact that people treat this like it is a real sickness. We need to start speaking up about what's happening in our communities, because if we don't, it will not get better. It will get worse. It is getting worse. And I have to be the one to take the bullets for saying this. So then I guess I'm going to be that person. We have to start valuing all Black lives, not just the ones that make headlines after a police encounter or a white suspect. Because the truth is, Black people kill more white people every year rather than the other way around. So if we're going to talk about equality and justice, we better start looking inward. We've got real issues that need to be faced, and pretending otherwise is just destroying us. It is disgusting. The hypocrisy is clear. And to be clear, Black death only sell when someone else is holding the gun. That is the reality. And until we face it head on, there is no progress, just pain on repeat. Now, before we close this out, I want to bring up a video from Westcott Laurent because he gave a dose of reality that Black people really need to hear. So we're going to go ahead and take a listen to that. Take a listen.
You got the nerve to complain on the white man's Instagram. Because what have you ever done? Go make your own platform. Racism isn't the obstacle holding us back anymore. It's the culture. It's our leadership choices. Only place Obama could lead you is right off a cliff. I want you to go to the bathroom. I want you to look in that mirror. You see that? Yeah, that's your enemy right there. Hip-hop does more damage than slavery ever did. Because it glorifies drugs, violence, and broken families. We didn't have to be slaves anymore. We enslaved ourselves with a beat, a rhyme, and a chain around our neck. Juneteenth is a made-up holiday just to help corporations sell us cookies and ice cream. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah, Juneteenth, cookies and ice cream. Democrats are the real slave owners. Gotta stop voting for them. Nobody's perfect, but they got it all wrong. Black Lives Matter was never about Black lives. It was about money, power, and keeping us angry while they cashed out on us. And we fell for it.
Now, what he said right there, that's exactly the truth. Nobody wants to say out loud. It is not the system. It is self-destruction. The silence on the Black-on-Black death has become a cultural conditioning. We defend dysfunction and then cry about the consequences. It is disgusting. We've replaced accountability with excuses, poverty, and this so-called oppression. But let's be honest, plenty of poor people do not kill. What we're watching is not oppression. It is a spiritual and psychological collapse. Fatherless homes, untreated trauma, glorified violence in our music, women raising sons with no structure. It is all connected. And the sad part is these young men are now facing capital murder charges. Some of them could get the death penalty. We used to fill prisons with Black men. Now we're filling graveyards. And that is the scariest part. We're getting used to it. This is what happens when ego becomes God and accountability becomes extinct. We're destroying ourselves. All right, guys, I'm going to get into some of you guys' comments. Lobo Wynn says, thanks for an honest outlook on life. I appreciate you, Lobo. Rayon Chip says, thanks. Thank you, Rayon Chip. Quindy Eskimo says, thank you. Thank you, Quindy Eskimo. Marcus Daniel says, MAGA. Thank you so much, Marcus Daniel. You're always supporting the show. Cliff doesn't say anything, but I still appreciate your donation to the show. Mark Slater says, once again, Carmen 2028. I appreciate you, Mark Slater. Jerry Harkett says, hi, Carmen. Your work ethic shows and the quality of your production is impressive. My wife and I enjoy your content. We have found so many young people on YouTube that are speaking the truth. You are a bright star. It gives us so much hope for the future of our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. May God bless you. Jerry and Dorothy Hargett. I really appreciate you guys. That actually means so much because I'm telling you, I get so much pushback for just doing what I think is the right thing and speaking what I believe to be the truth. Like, and it's just so unfortunate because if we don't speak up, nothing is ever going to change. And this is just for all of America, not even just Black America. Mark Slater also says, thank you for always taking one for the team without the fear of retribution. I appreciate that, Mark Slater. I swear you guys really help me to keep going. Like, just, it really does help me to keep going, stay motivated, because I promise you, like, I don't get much motivation from people in my private life. So I have to motivate myself, and I use you guys for motivation. So thank you, Mark Slater. Rick Marsh says, truth just runs out of your pretty mouth. Thank you so much, Rick Marsh. You are so awesome. And I just thank you all for just always enjoying and engaging with the content and just, you know, being here and watching live with me and interacting. It is just the most wonderful thing. And I could not ask for anything better. You guys are beyond amazing. I am Carmen, Jaycee. If you're new here, make sure you hit the like or the subscribe button. And if you want to support the channel, make sure you hit the super thanks or the buy me a coffee link below. And also make sure you guys drop a comment so we can stay in the algorithm, because you know it really gets tricky. And I hope Smiles get to watch this, because she's always talking about how YouTube just do not give her notifications for my episode. So I hope she get to watch this because I mentioned her. So shout out to you, Smiles. Thank you guys so much. And I will see you guys next time.
I'm breaking chains, freeing minds, it's a time to rise. Conscious culture in my veins, yeah, we see through the lies. They telling stories, trying to mold what we thinking inside. But I'm cutting through illusions, showing truth worldwide. They trying to box us in, but we step out the line. Redefining who we are, no longer falling behind. I see the games they playing, how they shape our design. So I'm speaking for the thinkers who refuse to be blind.